one smile and one name that instantly made thousands of hearts shake. Not because of controversy, not because of scandal, but because of a longing that had been secretly harbored for too long. When Kim Tae-young appeared, all eyes were on him. But strangely, why did everyone miss Jungkook even more? The recent appearance of Kim Tae-young, better known by his stage name V for BTS, has caught the attention of many. With his current status still in the military like other BTS members, Taeyoung's appearance in several official events, military portraits, or even just a brief update instantly became a rare moment that was welcomed by ARMY. But interestingly, every time Taeyoung's face is seen, Jungkook's name is brought up. The longing for the golden magne is suddenly overwhelming. This is no ordinary phenomenon. This is the psychological and emotional effect of the attachment that has been built over more than a decade between BTS and its fans. And more specifically, the relationship between Taeyoung and Jungkook, V and Jungkook, or Taekook for short, has a special place in ARMY's hearts. Two very different but complementary characters. Taeyoung with his mysterious, classic, and somewhat old soul aura, while Jungkook comes across as an energetic, modern, and rebellious young man who makes anyone curious. When Taeyoung appeared in his military uniform full of authority and charisma, everyone was naturally mesmerized. But beneath the admiration, there's an unexplainable emptiness. A feeling that arose not because Taeyoung was lacking, but because Taeyoung appeared alone, without Jungkook by his side. And that's where the emotional attachment theory comes in. The memory of one person can trigger longing for another. It's not just fandom behavior, it's a natural emotional response born from the habit of seeing the two together, performing side by side, joking around, complimenting each other, and creating moments that always warm the heart. In the world of psychology, there is the term associative recall or associative memory. When we see a familiar thing, our brain automatically draws a common thread to the experience, emotion, or individual that usually comes along with it. And this is what happens to many ARMYs. When they see Taeyoung, their memory immediately jumps to Jungkook. Like two sides of a coin, two pieces of a puzzle that feel odd if only one of them appears. And let's not forget how Taeyoung and Jungkook are known as two members who have strong chemistry, not just because they are often in the same frame, but because of their genuine dynamic. Quieter, sometimes random, Taeyoung is often a counterbalance to the more active and spontaneous Jungkook. Their relationship is not contrived. Taekook is not just fan service. They grew up together, learned together, even went through tough times together. And when one of them appears in public, our brains naturally look for the other. Especially now. Jungkook is in the midst of his military service role that keeps him from his usual public presence. No melodious singing, no live randoms in the middle of the night, no karaoke sessions while eating fried chicken. And that silence, for many, felt even more desolate when they saw Taeyoung standing alone. There's a lonely aura that's hard to explain, even though Taeyoung's own photos or videos are full of visual power and magnetism. However, such is Jungkook's influence. What was once a shy figure at the start of his debut has now become a global icon to look up to. His absence only emphasizes how big his impact is. And when Taeyoung arrived without him, all that longing came to the surface. Fans started resharing old videos of Taekook. Footage of them playing together, teasing each other, even just smiling at each other all went viral. Because everyone wanted to fill that void. Everyone wants to feel the presence that is currently absent. But behind all that, there's actually a beautiful side. Taeyoung's appearance, even without Jungkook, made the bond between BTS and ARMY even stronger. It's not about ordinary nostalgia. It's about loyalty that stands the test of time. It's about love that grows even when you don't always see each other. About how one smile can relive 1,000 memories. And when Jungkook returns standing on the same stage as Taeyoung, all that longing will explode into a happiness that words cannot describe. But for now, let's just enjoy this longing. Because this is how we know how precious their presence is. And interestingly, this longing is not only felt by ARMYs. Even from Taeyoung's gestures, the look in his eyes, and the way he speaks in some of his appearances, there's a kind of silent aura that goes unsaid. We know Taeyoung is the type of person who is full of mystery. But if you look carefully, every time he mentions Jungkook's name, there's a pause. forced, without being contrived. Because that's how natural their relationship is. And it's at this point that the narrative finds its power. Longing doesn't just belong to fans. Sometimes those who are missed also miss back, even though they can't show it directly. Now let's imagine it from JUNGKOOK's perspective. In the midst of a disciplined, hectic military life with almost no room for privacy, he may not be able to greet fans like he used to. Can't live as randomly as he used to. Can't sing as much as he used to. But you think he forgot? Not at all. JUNGKOOK is known for always remembering his fans and always connecting with the other members, especially Taehyung. We know he and Taehyung have a closeness that goes beyond work friends. They grew up together from a young age, went through the same pressures, and learned to deal with the world when the world didn't even know how to understand them yet. One thing that has always been interesting about Taehyung and JUNGKOOK's relationship is their connected silence. They don't need to appear together often or force interactions just to exist. But when one appears, the other's name is always mentioned. And when one disappears, the other's presence is all the more touching. They are living examples of how friendship can live on despite the test of time and distance. And now, when only Taehyung occasionally appears publicly, the ARMYs are even more hit with an unusual sense of longing. Because when we see Taehyung smile, we ask, how is JUNGKOOK? When Taehyung sings on the military stage, we imagine JUNGKOOK's harmonious voice behind him. When Taehyung stands tall in uniform, we imagine JUNGKOOK running after him, laughing like the old days. This is what makes this narrative never lose its energy. The longing for JUNGKOOK grows stronger when we see Taehyung. Because in his silence, in the way he smiles, in his unreadable glances, we know he's waiting too. Just like us. And it's not just that. All of BTS is now in a phase where everyone, members and fans alike, enter the same space, the waiting room. And in that space, nothing is clearer than the thought of a reunion. A big moment where JUNGKOOK and Taehyung will be back together in one frame. Maybe they'd sing together, or they'd just throw in some inconsequential jokes, but it would be special. Because longing, when reunited, will feel like a small miracle that finally comes true. So, for those of you who feel like your heart is being gently swiped every time you see a picture of Taehyung in the military barracks and suddenly remember JUNGKOOK, you're not exaggerating. You're experiencing something very human, feelings that are strong, genuine, and can't be controlled by logic. Because that's how we relate to them. And that's how they relate to each other. It's not just about the stage and the music, it's about an invisible yet palpable bond. A bond called love that quietly grows in togetherness and gets stronger in longing. We wait for them. We celebrate small moments like this. And we keep the memories that have been built together. When we talk about longing, we often talk about the emptiness felt when someone we care about is away from us. However, in the context of BTS, this longing has a more complex dimension. It's not just about the absence of JUNGKOOK, who is currently serving in the military, but about how the relationship between the members, especially between Taehyung and JUNGKOOK, has formed something bigger than just homesickness. It's about a bond that transcends distance and time. Taehyung and JUNGKOOK have a very distinctive dynamic. They're not just group mates. They are true best friends, who on many occasions give each other wordless support. They speak a language that only the two of them understand. Taehyung, who is known for his quieter and more introspective nature, is often the one who brings calm to the more energetic and sometimes impulsive JUNGKOOK. It's a balance not easily found in a group as big as BTS. This longing, in the end, is not just about waiting for a member to return. It is an emotional journey experienced together as a family. BTS is more than just a group. They are a symbol of genuine friendship, an unbreakable bond, and an ever-evolving story. They may be temporarily separated, but they will return stronger, more solid, and more meaningful to ARMY. When JUNGKOOK